Welcome back, everybody. I'm Frank Novak, and we're welcoming right now City Councilor Michael McGonagle, who's running for his third term as a City Councilor. Welcome to the program, Mike.
Thank you very much, Frank.
You know, you're a City Councilor that's an incumbent that's running for re-election. You also happen to be a local businessman in downtown Haverhill. You seem to have the pulse on what's going on downtown. And tell us a little bit about that and what you see is going on and what you foresee going on downtown.
Well, being downtown is a very busy place. Merrimack Street is, there's always something going on down there. And we've been lucky enough to be down there for 6 years. So there's a bunch of activity with some new businesses. We've all read about all the buildings from the Woolworth building down to Dr. Rose. Right. Those buildings all being bought, so there's some exciting stuff that we hope will be going into that area. So, and I know it's not finalized at this point, but it's going to be some exciting things to have those, especially that Woolworth building, disappear after 40 or 50 years just being vacant. So
that'll be a change.
Yeah, it'll be a change, and you know, imagine a pretty building going up in that area as you come over the Basileia Bridge and seeing something a little more
crossroads of the city.
Yes, a little more timely, you know.
Can you tell me what you think some of the most compelling factors are that are going to be confronting the City Council, that are going to require some tough decisions that if you're re-elected, you'll have to be able to deal with for the voters?
Absolutely. I'll tell you, first and foremost, I think we'll have a vote on what type of school we're going to be able to afford to replace the Hunking School. As everybody may know, the current Hunking School has had extensive repairs to extend the life of a good portion of that building for 4 years. We're now almost 2 years into, you know, since the repairs were done. So in short order, we have to have a contingency plan on where we're going to send these children. And from all accounts, and from the nice presentation that was given to the City Council and is now going through public meetings at some of the schools, a big 1,005 seat school on that property seems to be the best option, with a 2/3 matching money from the state helping us build that.
Is that something, Mike, that the City Council is going to be voting for, or is that something that the voters of the City of Haverhill are going to vote for on the ballot?
This is going to be a ballot item, and I believe what will happen is the city will ask for the constituents if they're willing to do a debt exclusion for the Haverhill's portion of that school, somewhere around $23 million at this point, it seems like.
If I could ask you this question. From a standpoint of building maintenance and just being able to put the smart money where it belongs, is the Hunking School the epitome of an example of required regular building maintenance, not just for one school, but for all municipal buildings, or for anybody watching this program, for any building in general, whether they own it private sector or public sector? Because if the Hunking School were maintained since new, would we be talking about a new school?
I think that's a tough question to say. It's not black and white.
Yeah.
But Haverhill historically has not done a good job in maintaining their property and their buildings.
So a voter wants to know, if they're going to be voting for $26 million, how do they know that the same thing won't happen to the new school that happened to the Hunking School? I'm being very practical here.
Yes,
I'm not putting you on the spot, but that's
no.
You know.
That is exactly what we are trying to make sure, that if we're going to go to the constituents and ask them to spend money, we have to be able to prove to them that this time there will be money set aside for proper maintenance. You know, Frank, we have a couple of schools in Haverhill that have been around for 100 years.
Yep.
Hunking School, I believe, was built in the 50s.
Yep.
So, and I think with the technology today and the knowledge today that we have in building property and proper drainage, I think Hunkin, the design was what we had for the 50s, but the drainage in that soil that's over there, this was bound to happen.
Right.
That will not happen with this new school because the engineering practices are much better than they were then. And it seems like this council has been very adamant that throughout all our schools, we want to put extra money aside to put into the maintenance. Schools, have a life expectancy, but it should be longer than 50 years.
Very well put. Any other compelling factors that you see as far as issues having to do with capping a landfill? I mean, that's a simple thing that's been out there for a long time. Where are we going to get the money to do that?
That's another area where we have some money put away for that, I believe, and that is upcoming, but that's going to be 15 million, I believe, at this point, and the longer you put it off, I would expect that it gets more expensive. But that, and there's a combined sewer overflow mandate from the state that we're going to have to address, and we're going to have to find money for that. So there are a lot of big capital expenditures that we have to do. There's no choice, and we have to.
Are these unfunded mandates essentially?
I don't believe the landfill is a mandate. We are required to do it, but we've known that for a long time, and we are getting income, for bringing fill into that thing. So we are getting some topsoil for that, and we're making some money. So hopefully that money is going in the right spot. Plus, half the cost is being shared by a business that also is part of that project.
Prospectively, where would we get the money when these things come due?
Well, we actually have a bunch of capital projects. A couple more schools will be coming off our books between around 7 years from now. The two schools that are coming off right now, which that'll be part of the debt exclusion. What the mayor is trying to do is have the folks say, we've been paying for these schools for 20 years, just keep that money and buy this new school, which will help alleviate a lot of crowding through our middle schools throughout the city.
So you're talking about a lateral move financially that's not going to necessarily impact the voters economically, but there are going to be some other expenses down the road that they are going to have to deal with, whether it's being a bond issue or anything else, no?
Correct. This is money we have to find somewhere, and as you know, we don't have a lot of area in the budget where we can take money from. We have done a good job as a council and the mayor of building our cash reserves and things, but it certainly won't be enough money to handle these things that are coming before us.
Anything in retrospect and taking a look at the past couple of years while you're being on the council that you, in voting for something with an expectation of it turning out a certain way, that you would like to go ahead and revisit or that to do differently?
Well, the two budgets that we've voted in since I've been on this term have been really responsible budgets where we've had a little extra money, but we were very adamant about putting more money into building maintenance, capital projects, and trying to make sure that we build the cash reserve. And the mayor's, a major proponent of making sure that we do that as well. But I think we've been very responsible. So I think this time around, I think we've been very, very careful not to think that this little extra money that we have is extra money, because it's down the road. It is accounted for.
Excellent. Mike McGonagle, running for your third term as a Haverhill City Councilor. We wish you the best of luck in the upcoming election. Thanks very much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
We'll be back in just a moment.